All right, this video is about learning target 3 for 8.1.2 unit on properties of matter. So it is about the importance of natural versus synthetics. And again, we're learning target 3. So natural comes from earth processes. If man changes a substance, it is only a physical change and is still the same substance. For example, like cotton on a bush turning into cotton as thread, it's still the same molecules, so that's a natural substance. Cotton's natural. But synthetics come from chemical changes that are man-directed or man-made. A lot of petroleum oil can be synthesized into different products such as plastics or synthetic fabrics. Now that should have been covered in learning target 2. Both are important to society, and here are some examples that we'll go through. Throughout time, for example, protecting a person from harm through the use of armor has long been used. In 1100 AD, boiled leather was used, which increased the durability and decreased the chance of a sword to cut through. So if you were wearing some leather armor like this, the chances of getting cut through by a knife were significantly decreased. And still, they were probably still had some problems. Then various steel metal armor was used with more protection for their body. So you can see from about 1100 to 1610, there was lots of different metal armor that was being used. And then in about 1610, you can start to see that there's more firearms. So once firearms came on the scene, Italy and Rome experimented with bulletproof vests but made them out of metal. This did not work because the vests were very, very thick, and so it'd be too heavy to walk in. And that's the only way to protect from bullets. So in the 1800s, Japan invented a silk bulletproof vest that was effective against low-speed bullets. It, however, is made from spider silk, and you can imagine that getting that silk was costly and it took a lot of time. So to make the bulletproof vest thick enough, it was going to cost a lot of money. Then in World War II, the flak jacket was made from ballistic nylon. The only protection that happened was from ammunition fragments, not a full-on bullet. So if you had ammunition fragments, it would stop from that. But if it was a bullet, still it could go right through the flak jacket. In 1970, Kevlar fabric was extremely strong, it was lightweight, and it increased the survival of a gunshot with Kevlar vests to 95% probable, meaning that if somebody was shot with this vest, Kevlar vest, 95% chance that they would survive. Over the past little while, these Kevlar bulletproof vests have saved over 3,000 police officer lives since 1987. So this is clear proof that synthetics are important to saving lives. So are synthetics safe no matter what? Well, let's watch this video to find out. So this video is a comparison between two rooms. We have a natural like materials with a fire. You can see the fire here. And this is a synthetic room with a fire here, but I can't quite see where the fire is. Anyway, it'll change over time. So here you can see the fire is here on synthetics. Notice that the burn is significantly different. Synthetics give off this really black smoke, and when the fire burns, it's almost like it's sparkly. This one you can see with natural materials and natural fabrics that the burn is a lot slower. And so in a matter of couple of minutes, you're going to have a synthetic room be having significantly more flame spreading versus the natural room is still kind of localized. So clear proof that synthetics are not always safe, especially a lot of synthetics have the property of being flammable and they give off this black smoke. So going back, so we should definitely safeguard our homes from some synthetic materials. So how can we do that? Well, let's talk about some things that are made up of our home. So our home has a variety of materials that are used for different purposes. So why is it not a good idea to use hard concrete for the roof? Well, the problem is concrete is heavy. And if there was a roof collapse, it could kill somebody. So that's not good. Why is it not? So we usually don't make our roofs out of cement. We're going to choose something different. Why is it not a good idea to make your foundation that holds up your house and is covered by a lot of dirt in the ground to be made out of wood? Well, the answer for that is wood is from plants. And that means that bugs and things will decompose naturally in the soil and rot. So your foundation would be totally ruined if you were to use wood. That's why we would use concrete for our roof, our foundation, and we'd use wood for part of our roof because it's a lot more lightweight. So here are some important things to remember about your home materials in order to have a functioning house. Concrete that is used in a home foundation is reinforced with steel rebar so it's less likely to crumble. So we don't just have cement, we have rebar that keeps things in place because steel is hard and strong. PVC is chemically resistant and heat resistant. It is therefore used in plumbing because no matter what chemicals might mix in your drain, the PVC will not change and can hold unwanted chemicals and substances. Now, if you hadn't guessed, PVC is a synthetic. And so this is an example of using a synthetic that's actually non-flammable and it holds all this gross junk in it. And that's what we exactly need out of our plumbing. We need to be able to put down the drain anything and still make it safe. Fiberglass insulation is used to keep the heat inside our homes to stay in our house in the winter, right? So we keep heat in the winter or to keep heat out in the summer. Fiberglass insulation has another purpose as well. It is non-flammable. So here's some fiberglass insulation, and notice they're taking a blowtorch to that fiberglass and it is not starting fire. So the wood would be flammable, but the fiberglass's insulation is not. So this is one more thing that we can do to protect our homes from fire and also keep our homes from letting heat transfer in or out. Similarly, drywall and roof shingles are also fire resistant. So we use our walls with drywall that's not going to catch fire. And we also have fire resistant roofing materials. Clay and slate have been around for a very long time, and they are natural sedimentary rocks that will brittle and chip and different things like that. Even glass panels, going back to concrete tile. Concrete tile is going to be fiberglass reinforced, so it's going to be more expensive and it's not as heavyweight as the clay and tile. And then you also have metal, and you can put that on your home, and it can also be low weight, but it has a high initial cost too, and it might be difficult to install. So these are some things about roofing materials, is that they are all fire resistant. So that's another way that we protect our homes. Even glass panels are now double paned within a thin layer of air. A natural insulator is less likely to transfer heat. So that's why we have 2 layers of glass. Glass also has a low emissivity coating, which is called low E. This is a synthetic resin that has applied to it for the purpose of reflecting heat back into your home. So windows have been in the past very, very cold next to them because they let heat in and out. But now that we have new double paned glass windows that are low resin E, that they'll allow even less heat transfer in and out. Even with these changes, our modern glass windows maintain their transparency, so they still have the same property of letting light in, and so they're being used for functioning windows. So in our homes, sometimes it's going with a natural material like glass is important, or like concrete and metals. And fabrics are safer in our home if they are coming from natural materials. It is safer for our babies to be wrapped, for example, in a natural blanket rather than a synthetic. If a baby is wrapped in a super soft synthetic, but this is what could happen, is you could have a lot more problems when that synthetic is going to catch fire more quickly. So it is safer to put our little babies that can't move their arms or get blankets off them to be wrapped in natural materials. Our food also comes from the natural world, and it's important in regulating the temperature of our planet through photosynthesis and natural decomposition. Our Earth does a great job making things natural. So yes, of course we need natural. However, we can't deny the fact that synthetics have helped us from having better plumbing like PVC to less brittle roofs to better heat resistant windows than we have had in the past. So our lives are improved by a combination of both natural and synthetic materials around us. I hope this helps your understanding.